Right now, as you watch this, Camilla is losing things she spent 30 years fighting to get. And number 11 on this list? Even her closest allies didn't see it coming. The invitations are drying up. The public is turning. Behind palace walls, the whispers have already started. Because Camilla didn't just inherit Diana's title. She inherited a debt, and that debt is now coming due. For 27 years, the world watched her climb, watched her take everything Diana built. But what nobody told you is how much she's already lost, and how much worse it's about to get. The woman who waited in the shadows is watching it all slip through her fingers, one piece at a time. These are 15 things Camilla is losing right now that she will never get back. Some she knows about, some she doesn't. Number 1, her approval ratings. YouGov polls throughout 2024 and 2025 show Camilla stuck at 43 to 45% positive approval. That sounds acceptable until you realize where she started. 40 years of carefully managed PR, hundreds of planted newspaper stories, millions spent on reputation consultants, charity appearances designed to make her look caring, staged photographs with children and animals to soften her image. All of it crafted to make Britain forget who she was and what she did, and she still cannot crack 50%. Among voters under 40, her numbers collapse further. A September 2025 U.S. poll showed her net favorability at -12. William sits at +41, Catherine at +45. Camilla is underwater with the generation that will define the monarchy's future. The coronation did not change it. The title did not change it. 4 decades of image rehabilitation bought her the approval of fewer than half the country. Every quarter confirms the same verdict Britain made decades ago. Number 2, public sympathy. For decades, Camilla's team worked to reframe her story. The woman who waited. The woman Charles always loved. The woman who endured public hatred and emerged stronger. The victim, not the villain. That narrative is dying. The younger generation does not see a patient lover who deserves sympathy. They see the woman who destroyed Diana's marriage while pretending to be her friend. They see the woman who was there from the very beginning, lurking in the background while Diana cried alone in Kensington Palace, wondering what was wrong with her marriage. They see the tampon phone call. They see the sneaking around. They see Charles telling Camilla he loved her while Diana was pregnant with William. They see a woman who smiled for cameras at royal events, knowing exactly what she was doing behind closed doors. Public sympathy took 40 years to build through careful media manipulation. It collapsed in 5 once people started paying attention. And once that sympathy is gone, it does not return. Not for someone like Camilla, not after what she did. Number 3, media protection. The British tabloids used to protect Camilla. Editors who lunched with her press team softened stories before publication. Critical pieces were killed before they reached readers. Favorable coverage was coordinated weeks in advance. The same newspapers that hunted Diana through the streets of Paris gave Camilla a pass for decades. That protection is cracking. As Charles's health declines and William's influence rises, media outlets are recalculating who matters. The next king matters more than the current queen consort. Editors who shielded Camilla for years are now cultivating relationships with William's team instead. They know where power is heading. They know who will remember their loyalty. The shift started quietly. A critical headline here, an unflattering photo there. Stories that would have been buried 5 years ago are now making it to print. Speculation about her future that would have been killed is now appearing in mainstream outlets. The dam has not broken yet, but the cracks are spreading. And every editor in Fleet Street knows which way the wind is blowing. Number 4, her influence over Charles. For 30 years, Camilla was the voice in Charles's ear. She shaped his decisions. She influenced who was in favor and who was out. Courtiers knew that crossing Camilla meant crossing the future king. Her opinion carried weight. Her preferences became policy. That influence is fading. Charles is thinking about his legacy now. He knows his reign will be short. He knows history will judge him harshly for how he treated Diana. His cancer diagnosis accelerated every timeline, made everything more urgent. and he knows that defending Camilla to his last breath will not improve how history remembers him. The conversations Charles once had with Camilla are now happening with William. The decisions that used to include her input now happen without it. She sits in meetings where she used to lead. She listens to discussions she used to direct. She can feel the shift. Everyone at the palace can feel it. Power is moving away from her, and there is nothing she can do to stop it. Number 5. Staff loyalty. Royal sources report significant turnover among Camilla's personal staff. Aides who seem devoted have quietly moved to other positions within the palace. Her private secretary departed without fanfare. Her dresser changed. The atmosphere around her shifted from confidence to something else entirely. Staff loyalty in royal households tells you everything you need to know. When aides start leaving, it signals something. When multiple aides leave in quick succession, it signals something larger. When the departures are quiet and unexplained, it signals something nobody wants to say out loud. The people closest to Camilla are positioning themselves for what comes next. They are making calls to contacts they have not spoken to in years, updating resumes, preparing for a court that will not center the current queen consort. Camilla knows what staff departures mean. She watched Diana's people quietly abandon her in the 90s when the palace pushed Diana out. Now she is watching her own do the same thing. And if the staff exodus is bad, what's happening with Diana's jewelry is worse. Because the things Camilla borrowed are about to be taken back. Number 6. Diana's jewelry. When Diana died, she left behind jewelry that carried her memory in every stone. The sapphire engagement ring Charles gave her, the pearl earrings she wore to galas, the aquamarine ring from her final public appearance just weeks before Paris. Some pieces were royal, others were personal gifts. All of them meant something. Camilla has worn several of Diana's pieces over the years: the sapphire brooch, the pearl strands, items that Diana touched, wore, and loved. Items that should have gone to Diana's sons. Items that Camilla put on knowing exactly whose they were. William has made no public statement about any of this, but royal watchers noticed something significant years ago. The jewelry Diana specifically left to her future daughters-in-law went directly to Catherine. The engagement ring is on Catherine's finger now, where it belongs. The earrings appear at state events on Catherine, not Camilla. The pieces Camilla borrowed were never hers to keep. When William becomes king, he controls royal jewelry. Every piece Camilla wears from Diana's collection can be reclaimed with a single decision. Every borrowed item returned to Diana's family where it belongs. Diana's jewelry was on loan to Camilla. That loan is coming due, and William will collect. Number 7. The younger generation. Millennials and Generation Z do not share their grandparents' willingness to forgive Camilla. They grew up watching The Crown, which showed them what happened in brutal detail. They watched Diana's panorama interview on YouTube, where Diana looked into the camera and said there were 3 people in her marriage. They read the books. They know exactly what Camilla did. To them, Camilla is not a reformed villain who deserves a second chance. She is the villain, period. Social media made this generational divide visible in ways it never was before. Comment sections flood with criticism whenever Camilla appears. Young people share clips of Diana with captions about karma finally arriving. TikTok videos mocking Camilla go viral within hours. Instagram accounts dedicated to Diana's memory have millions of followers who despise everything Camilla represents. The rehabilitation that worked on older Britons failed completely with younger ones. This generation will define the monarchy's future. They will shape public opinion for the next 50 years, and they have already decided what Camilla is. That verdict will never change. Number 8. Commonwealth support. The Commonwealth nations are reassessing their relationship with Britain. Jamaica announced plans to become a republic. Australia keeps debating the same question. Barbados already cut ties. Other nations are demanding apologies for colonial abuses before any further engagement. In this environment, Camilla is a liability. She represents the old monarchy, the monarchy of scandal and dysfunction, the monarchy that treated Diana like an inconvenience to be managed. Commonwealth leaders seeking to modernize do not want the woman who symbolizes everything that went wrong. When Charles and Camilla visited Kenya in 2023, protesters demanded accountability for colonial atrocities. The reception was cold. The coverage was critical. Local newspapers ran editorials questioning why Kenya should welcome the wife of the man who broke Princess Diana's heart. The Commonwealth is watching closely, and what they see is not helping. Number 9. Her reputation rehabilitation. For 40 years, Camilla's team executed one of the most expensive reputation campaigns in British history. They transformed public perception from homewrecker to beloved consort through methodical effort, planted stories in friendly newspapers, flattering photo opportunities, slow, strategic narrative control designed to make people forget Diana. That transformation is reversing. All of that work is being undone in months. Poll numbers dropping quarter after quarter. Negative coverage increasing week after week. The carefully constructed narrative crumbling under the weight of a public that refuses to forget any longer. Reputation rehabilitation only works if the foundation holds. Camilla's foundation was built entirely on making people forget Diana. That was the whole strategy. People stopped forgetting, they started remembering, and then they started getting angry. Number 10. Senior royal support. The senior royals who publicly supported Camilla are creating distance. William and Catherine appear with her less frequently than they did 2 years ago. Joint engagements are becoming rare. Family photographs show separation now. Careful spacing. Body language that communicates everything words cannot say. Royal support is performative by nature. It requires effort. It requires coordination. It requires the willingness to be seen together and project warmth. When that effort decreases, everyone watching notices. The senior royals are preparing for a transition. They are positioning for what comes next. That transition does not center Camilla. It sidelines her, moves her to the edges of the frame. But here is what even her closest allies missed. The loss they did not see coming. The one that blindsided everyone who thought they understood where this was heading. Number 11. Her own children's silence. Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes have barely defended their mother publicly. Camilla's own children, the two people who should be her fiercest advocates in any fight, have stayed remarkably quiet as criticism mounted. No interviews defending her character. No social media posts pushing back on negative coverage. No public statements reminding Britain of her charitable work. Royal commentators expected Tom and Laura to step up when attacks intensified. They have media access. They have platforms. They know journalists who would print whatever they said. They could speak up anytime they wanted. They chose not to. That silence tells a story her allies did not want to hear. Even her own children know what is coming. Even they are calculating what association with their mother will cost them when William takes the throne. Even they are protecting themselves. When your own children will not fight for you publicly, you have already lost something that cannot be recovered. Something more important than titles or jewelry or poll numbers. Number 12. Her income security. The sovereign grant funds working royals. As Queen Consort, Camilla receives substantial support from this system. Homes maintained at taxpayer expense, staff paid, lifestyle subsidized by British citizens who never voted for her. When Charles dies, everything changes. William will control the sovereign grant. He will determine which royals receive funding and how much. He will decide whether Camilla remains in royal residences or relocates somewhere smaller, somewhere out of sight. Financial security in the royal family depends entirely on the reigning king's favor. William has given no indication that Camilla has his favor. No gesture, no signal whatsoever that he plans to provide for her. Number 13. Her homes. Camilla lives at Clarence House with Charles. She also maintains Ray Mill House in Wiltshire. She moves between them freely, enjoying the comforts of both. Royal residences belong to the crown. When Charles dies, William decides who lives where. Clarence House could be reassigned to working royals who need it. Camilla could be asked to leave royal properties entirely. Ray Mill House is technically private property, but maintaining a country estate requires substantial income. Staff, upkeep, taxes, insurance. If royal funding disappears, keeping that home becomes uncertain. The places Camilla calls home are not guaranteed to remain hers. Nothing is guaranteed. Not anymore. Number 14, Charles's protection. Charles protected Camilla for 50 years. He defended her against his mother, who despised her, against his father, against public opinion that wanted her gone. He insisted on marrying her despite overwhelming opposition. He forced Britain to accept her as queen consort through sheer stubbornness. Charles will not live forever. His cancer diagnosis in February 2024 changed every calculation. Even with treatment responding well, he's 77 years old, managing a serious illness. The timeline that once stretched decades ahead now feels measured in years. Every royal watcher knows it. Camilla knows it better than anyone. When Charles dies, Camilla loses her only protector. The man who shielded her from consequences for half a century will be gone. She will face what remains completely alone. No one else will protect her. No one else ever wanted to. She was tolerated because Charles demanded it. Without Charles, tolerance ends. Number 15, William's patience. This is the loss Camilla has dreaded for 27 years. William watched his mother suffer. He saw what the affair did to Diana. He held her hand while she cried in Kensington Palace. He heard her fears about what would happen to her. He absorbed her pain and carried it into adulthood. It shaped who he became. He never forgot, not for a single day. For decades, William maintained composure around Camilla because he had no choice. He appeared at family events where she was present. He posed for photographs. He said the right things. He did what was expected of a prince who had no power to change his circumstances. But patience has limits, even royal patience. Royal sources report tension between William and Camilla for years. The distance is visible to anyone paying attention. The warmth that exists between William and his father does not extend to his father's second wife. Smiles at public events are polite, nothing more. Interactions are minimal and carefully controlled. When William becomes king, he owes Camilla nothing. Not the title of Queen Dowager, not residence in royal homes, not funding from the sovereign grant, not a place at state events, not public acknowledgments, not private kindness. Nothing. Diana told William everything before she died. She made sure her sons knew the truth about their family and what really happened. She wanted them to know exactly who caused her pain. William understood everything. He was old enough to understand. He remembers every single word his mother told him. Camilla spent 40 years trying to make the world forget Diana. She failed completely. Diana is more beloved now than the day she died. Her memory grows stronger every year. Her influence reaches beyond the grave and into the future Camilla fears most. And William is Diana's living legacy. Her firstborn son, her protector. The boy who held her hand is about to become the most powerful person in Britain. Camilla took everything from Diana: her husband, her happiness, her place in the royal family, her peace of mind, her sense of safety in her own home, her hope that things would get better. William is going to take it all back. 15 things slipping through Camilla's fingers. From the polls that can't crack 50%, to her own children's silence, to the one person whose patience finally ran out. She spent 40 years climbing to that throne, and now she is watching it collapse while Diana's memory only grows stronger. But what William plans to do when he becomes king? That is where Camilla's real nightmare begins. Click right here for 20 powers Charles handed William that erase Camilla's entire future.